Sound check one, sound check two.
I did too. All right. Thank you very much for your attendance this evening. We'll go ahead. It is 6 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. The next item on our agenda is the citizens desiring to address the board, and I do have someone, I think Kathy Partridge, if you'd come forward to the podium, and we'd love to hear your comments, and we provide for 3 minutes for you to speak to us this evening. You're very welcome.
Visit Graham. And I just wanted to speak about our support of the LVN to RN program that's being considered for that campus. I have visited with the hospital, with the doctor's offices, and with many other leaders in the community, and this would be so valuable to Graham, but also to the surrounding small towns. We have a big problem in Graham of housing. So to train people up that already live there to go to work at the hospital, in the doctor's offices would be fabulous, plus all those in the surrounding areas that want to benefit their own community. There's great community support for this. I think the funding would be easy to find locally that we need, and we would just be fully supportive of the LVN to RN programs.
Okay. Very good. Thank you so much for your comments and for your travel here this evening.
Absolutely. Happy to.
All right. The next item on our agenda, item number 3, is the Chancellor's Report. Dr. Wallace.
Thank you for allowing me to be absent last month. I was not in a position to be able to be here, but we want to go ahead and recognize Terry Moss. Terry was here last month, and I missed it, but now she's busy tonight, but we're going to get her pin. She was recognized by PTK after serving 10 years as a chapter liaison for our Honor Society. So Terry, if you're watching this, or if you later on, we'll get you your pin. We'll send that to you. But let's give a round of applause, if we could, to Terry. It's my pleasure this evening to kind of announce several different significant developments that we may have seen or you may have heard about, but we want to express to the board this evening. And it continues to show our commitment to academic excellence and innovation and community engagement. In an exciting new collaboration, you approved this several months back, but NCTC has officially partnered with U.S. Aviation Academy to offer an FAA-approved airframe and power plant maintenance training program at U.S. Aviation Academy campus in Denton, Texas. The partnership combines NCTC's educational expertise with U.S. Aviation's renowned aviation training program to meet the increasing demands of that industry in our North Texas area for skilled aircraft maintenance technicians. Students in that program will be benefited by the state-of-the-art facilities they have and experienced instructors as the curriculum aligns with the FAA standards. And then graduates will earn the Associate of Applied Science degree in Aviation Maintenance Technology and qualify for the FAA A&P certification exam, equipping them to work on both aviation airframes and power plants. So that's an exciting new innovation for us. On our faculty side, NCTC is also proud that we have, of course, recognize the achievements of our faculty. Government professor Jeremy Brannon and then one of our adjunct faculty, Anastita Draper, have both been selected as faculty fellows by the Texas Community College Teachers Association for 24-25, the largest organization of community college educators in the nation, actually. And they established the Faculty Fellows Program to develop new faculty, both full and part-time, and their skill in helping them. As faculty fellows, they will participate in various professional development activities aimed at preparing them to address the complex changes that we see in Texas and in our community. So we're excited that they've been adopted by that. Then we also are pretty excited, of course, that the NCTC Student Success Center, under the direction of Dean Mary Martinson, has received and achieved level 1, 2, and 3 certification for its tutor training program from the College Reading and Learning Association. So if you'd congratulate her with me this evening. That certification is valid for quite a few, till 28, but it underscores the college's dedication to providing high-quality academic support services. It's an internationally recognized organization, CRLA is, with over 1,300 members and 2,000 certified programs. So we're very excited that 30-year-old program, it's been around quite a while, and our commitment to that. So those initiatives and recognitions really help us highlight NCTC's continued effort both on the faculty, staff, and of course our student services. So through those partnerships we continue to see development across the district. So that is my report this evening. I have more to tell you later under different items. Unless you have questions.
All right, thank you very much for that report. So the next item on our agenda is the informative reports from the board subcommittees. The first one would be the executive committee. We did meet on October the 15th at 8 a.m. There were 3 of us present. We called the meeting to order and we discussed the following items. We reviewed the board agenda for tonight's meeting. We overviewed the current maintenance note projects that are underway. We had a report on the TC3 meeting. We discussed the current abatement procedures and policies. I wanted to thank Erica for providing us with some feedback. We got that feedback and felt like that we needed a little more time to review the details that she had put in there. So it's our recommendation that we take a deeper dive and look at those processes and make sure that we can have a policy that covers all of the things that were mentioned. Also, we recommended postponing the agenda item regarding the tax abatement that was brought to us last month for one more month till we can have a chance to review those better. The next thing I wanted to make sure everybody, I know Sandy had sent out, I think it was an email or text message to everybody to ask them if they had a computer issue to please bring their computer this evening. If you're able to log in, etc., that's great, because as of this next meeting, everything will be sent to your college email and you'll receive a text message that says check your email, just to make sure that we cover, because we all attended the cybersecurity training, and we want to make sure that we adhere to all that properly. I know Glenn's happy about that. So anyway, if you would just make sure that you watch for the text message so that you can check your email. So we want to keep our email from professional email at the college definitely separate from our personal emails, either at work or at home. So, and then we adjourned at 9:40. All right, the next committee report would be the Finance Committee. Christy?
The Finance Committee also met on October 15th. We discussed the 2024 financial audit. They were on campus the week of October 14th. Dr. Miller discussed the audit process and possible dates for the presentation in December. We also talked about potential use for Graham reserves. We discussed upcoming needed plant improvements on that campus and our available options, noting that we did have some reserves available designated for the Graham campus. We looked at the September 2024 financials, had some updates from Dr. Wallace, and we adjourned.
All right, and then the Building and IT Committee, I don't think they met. They did. Okay, they did not. Thank you. All right, the next item would be under staff reports. The first one would be Dr. Miller for the finance report.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Tonight we have the September financial statements, and as you know, September is the first month of the fiscal year. I always give disclaimers for August and September because the last month of the year and the first month of the new year, we're always so busy in the accounting office getting the transition from one year to the next that there are often things that are have not yet been completed when it's time to publish these statements. But I will say, because as Ms. Morris just mentioned, our auditors were on campus last week, so that's about 3 weeks earlier than what happened last year. That's meant our accounting staff has had to be working very hard to get last fiscal year wrapped up and ready for the auditors, and since we did that, that gave us a little bit of time to do a better job of getting the September financials ready to go. So I would say of my 5-6 years here, these are probably the most complete September statements I've ever been able to present to you, and so I feel confident that there's accurate data here. I would call your attention to a few things that you'll find on the first page, the statement of funds. Maintenance tax notes, actually, at the end of August, we spent every penny of the 2023 tax notes, and they were completely gone. But overnight, we got interest from the bank. So there was a balance on the first of the month. And then the middle of the month, we got our new tax notes that were approved earlier in the year. So that's why we're back up to about $4.9 million of tax notes. And moving forward, we'll get that number changed. Now we're dealing with the 2024 tax notes as opposed to 2023. And then at the bottom of the page on Medal of Honor Museum, just wanted to clarify that in September, we received the fourth and should be final installment from the state of $2.5 million. So we have received a total of $10 million from the state for that particular project. We have spent almost $6 million on the project already. As you see, it is nearing completion, but it is not finished yet. So we will be utilizing those funds in the coming months to get the construction completed for that particular project.
Dr. Miller, can I just
Yes.
make one statement? What we did do that I don't know that we've shared with the board yet is Dr. Miller and I discussed the fact that oftentimes in the legislative budget process, when you've been awarded a dollar amount 2 consecutive years in a row, they tend to make that a permanent fund. And one of the concerns we had is you have to use that, so it'd be like getting another $5 million. That sounds great theoretically, but that's actually a challenge when you don't have expenditure for it, because you have to prove it's going toward a particular facility. What we did build in the LAR was a $500,000 biennium request to continue to pay for the operations and the expenses associated with the museum. So I'm just letting you know that in case there's any questions down the road of why we're getting extra money, if we do. But we did remove that $5 million and make that only $500,000, so it'd be $250,000 a year to help pay whatever expenses we might incur. Plus, we're not spending the full amount of the 10 at this point on the project.
Exactly.
Sorry, I just.
Thank you. The only other thing I wanted to point out on the next page, budget comparison. You see there's a couple of zeros there for taxes, both in Cook County and in Graham, those two items. We always have a very small amount that trickles in September. Tax statements will be going out this month, and payments for next year will begin. So the next few months is when we'll see virtually all of those tax dollars come in. But also, if you look at that page, a couple of numbers that just jump out at you, at least it did me. Local funds on source of funds is up $1.2 million. And then on the use of funds, student services with financial aid is up about $1.6 million. Both of those increases are the direct result of a tremendous increase we've had this year in federal financial aid. And I think that's amazing considering all the FAFSA problems going on in the country. But we had about $1.25 to $1.5 million increase in the awards of Pell Grants to our students for this fall semester. More students this fall, and then I think even more of them actually receiving the aid. I think one reason for that increase, again, is our Red River Promise program that requires these students to fill out federal financial aid. So many of them are actually, in some cases, surprisingly, getting financial aid that they may not have expected they would receive, but they have been awarded that. So those two numbers both showed significant increases in the month of September. Yes?
Is the FAFSA delayed again this year?
December? I
December?
think there is.
Yes. December.
Yep.
Is it supposedly the same form as last year, or is it
Theoretically.
theoretically?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know if that's good or bad, but
I received a notice from the Department of Education from the head of that department saying that they expected to be out on time in the December note, but accolades of how well it went, which in practice we didn't experience that same ease, but they are informing us it should be ready to go and and a better speed for that award in the future. Secretary Cardone.
That's all I had for presentation. If there's any other questions, though, I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay, thank you for your report.
Thank you.
The next item under staff reports is the Student Affairs Report. Ms. Carroll?
Good evening. I'm pleased to present the Student Affairs Report this evening in a little bit different format than what we've done in the past. Your report highlights key updates in enrollment, residence life, and then also student well-being initiatives at NCTC. Your first section of your report is enrollment by the numbers. NCTC has experienced notable growth in student enrollment, as you can see within this report. For the fall of 2024, we have 8,346 students. As of the date the report was pulled, we're still enrolling students, and that is representing a 7.72% increase from the previous year. So we're excited about that. It's looking at those significant growth in enrollment, and then also, if you note in your report, you'll see application counts are also increasing there. This growth is particularly evident in our online education offerings, also noted in your report, where 37% of our students enroll exclusively in online classes, and then 34% are enrolling in either face-to-face or a hybrid model of their courses, the course modality. Our top enrolled courses include core subjects such as English composition or English 1301, and then federal government, noted government 2305. Additionally, you'll see that 58% of our student population is female, and 27% of our students identify as either Hispanic or Latino, aligning with our commitment to diversity and accessibility, and also aligns with our initiatives within our Title V grant. 65% of our students are enrolled part-time as well, and then this kind of piggybacks on what we were just talking about. 32% of our students receive Pell Grants. So included in this data, dual credit students are not eligible for that, but they're included in those numbers. So, which that makes up about 25 to 27% of our enrollment, which also emphasizes our focus in making higher education more affordable to our students across the district. Did anybody have any questions about that particular section before I go on to the next part? We did highlight residence life this month, and I do want to, before you look at that report, there is an error on that, a notable error. Our softball students actually are housed in Hayes Hall rather than Bonner Hall. So I've looked at that report several times, but just wanted that important note. Our residence life programs continue to foster student engagement and campus involvement. Currently, we have 144 students who are living on campus across 3 residence halls, including Bonner Hall, Hayes Hall, and then the bunkhouse. There are 112 student athletes living on campus, representing baseball, softball, golf, volleyball, cross country, track, and the equine teams. And then we have 24 students who are actually our non-athletes who did request to be in the dorms, and we were able to accommodate those housing for those particular students. We have also held several community building events, as noted in your report. One was at the beginning of the semester, had a chancellor's cookout, and actually one that's occurring today is our family fun day, where they're having snacks and just games this evening over in the dorms, just to try and promote that residence life or student living experience in strengthening their connections. Did you guys have any questions in regard to the report regarding residence hall or residence life? We do try and accommodate the need in the halls as much as we can, but we know that we do turn students away depending on the situation. So the final part of your report is about student well-being and then our telehealth timely care services. As you know, and as you have supported our initiatives, we remain committed to well-being of our students through timely care and telehealth services. Timely care has seen a tremendous increase in usage. Currently, there are over 38% of our students who register which is up from 5.73% whenever we began the program in 2021. As you know, the service provides telehealth, or vital health care, mental health support, and then offering 24/7 access to virtual care. The majority of our users are 18 to 22, which does highlight the importance of our mental health services for our young students that are trying to navigate college life. Part of what we did extend within this particular service that's new for this particular academic year is adding student success coaching to that, where it allows and complements our current success coaching model and gives students the opportunity to have those supports even whenever the college is not open. The steady growth in enrollment, and then the vibrant life in our residence halls, and the increasing use of our health and wellness resources are all just a positive point for where we're moving as an institution. We're dedicated to fostering supportive and engaging and also an inclusive environment for our students. Does anybody have any questions in regard to the information that's been provided?
This says registration. Do all of the total number of students, does that do y'all keep track of how many times they actually use it? And I know you couldn't disclose who uses it, but
We do. We do use that, and we can
curious if
provide.
people are registering and not using it, or they're actually using it.
We can actually look at who's registered and then also what types of usage that they have, and we can track and even drill down further and present that either over the next couple of months to you, so that way you have that. Because I know that was some questions as to really, although they might be registering, but what are they actually utilizing it for?
There were a couple of things that surprised me, and I don't know if you noticed, but if you look at overall enrollment, again, at the overall district-wide, all campus, it was a little bit of a surprise to me that we're now serving 52, so the majority of our students fall under minority ethnicity status. And that just was a little bit of a surprise to me. It means we're really, I mean, we knew we were doing the work of the Title V grant in regards to Hispanic Serving Institution, but that was a surprise. And then when you come back to that timely care you were just mentioning, we've seen major increases, and Melinda could speak to this, but major increases in what we call our CARES reports. I think we hit 1,000 of those this year already, which is a record number of reporting. And that comes from faculty, staff, other students who say, I'm seeing something, whatever that may be, that needs to be checked upon. And without timely care that the board, you specifically made this happen, without that, I don't think we could be triaging at the level we are, and I know we couldn't handle the mental health piece without this. So I just wanted to let you know that it is increasing the number demand, and without this, we would be in a pretty strong jeopardy. So another thank you from the college to the board for making that happen. That was important for us.
And I really, excuse me, that I think as we drill down into the data about timely care that our team can review, and Courtney Hymas, who's our Director of Counseling and Wellness, as a licensed counselor, can see, not really digging into that information, but they do alert us if there is something that we need to help triage also as the institution. So we can really drill down to looking at overall data and usage across demographic areas, and then also the types of needs.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
your report. All right. The next one would be the Quality Enhancement Plan. Ms. Clone.
Good evening. Thank you so much for this opportunity to share with the board about our Quality Enhancement Plan, the Aspire to be Hired program. We are currently in year 4 of the 5-year program, which seems a little hard to believe, but we've been making great progress. Tonight we're here to give you an update on year 3, and that is the report that you have in your packet. But I will also share a couple of updates of year 4 and just some plans for sustainability, scalability, and some partnerships that we have with other current programs. I wanted to start by giving just a quick overview of the program, and then I do have a few others with me who are going to share some insights as well. The mission of Aspire to be Hired is to focus on employability skill development for students, and that is done through evidence-based training models that are embedded into our curriculum, and you're going to hear from one of our department chairs and faculty members with a little more information about that. And then the other big piece to this program is our structured support. That is mainly housed in our Career Services Center, and you're going to hear from one of our career coaches with some information about that. I won't go all the way through the research, but when we started this program in 2020, there was a lot of research from our local employers and employers across the country really saying that people, not just our students, but we're coming to them in general with maybe the skill sets that they needed for the job, whatever that was, but lacking in those professional skills, employability skills, soft skills, things like that. And so we really have focused on those areas in this program. By increasing marketability, preparedness, we really focus on, we call it the 3 A's, and that is awareness. And so, again, you'll hear in a moment, but in the beginning of a program, really making sure that students are aware that this is a skill set and it's important. And then throughout their program, they have opportunities to articulate that. So describe and discuss what that looks like in their industry. And that is through those that curriculum design and our career coaching support that comes alongside them. And then towards the end of a program, really practical application opportunities. Again, our overall premise in this is to decrease a skills gap that our employers were seeing and reduce those barriers for our students for long-term success when they're ready to transition, whether that be to a 4-year college and then onto their career or directly into the workforce. And so we're really proud of the different aspects of the program that support that awareness, articulation, and application. We try to take a holistic approach with this program because we know students can have challenges balancing life and school and all the things that come with that. And so by having the classroom aspect, the course embedded content, and then the support from our career services team really does allow us to make those connections for the student and for them to have that, that support. We're also able to reach a more broad-based range of students by providing multifaceted programming. So we do things like classroom presentations. We have a program we've been doing for a while, but we've recently kind of named it called Pathways to Professionalism. And that is a series of workshops that our career services team does with a lot of different programs. And specifically for this program, we're able to offer that. Just a few key points. Again, you have the year 3 report with our student learning outcome benchmarks and our program learning outcome benchmarks. But since the official start of this program in 2021, we did some piloting in 2020, but we know how that year was. So we officially started in 2021. We have had 909 Aspire to be Hired course sections, and that is across those CTE programs. We have served 7,260 students through this program. And again, that's through that multifaceted approach, classroom, workshops, coaching, different opportunities for students to get that professional development. We have seen a decrease in that skills gap since the beginning, and that's based on some of those course assignments, the rubrics that we're getting, and then we also do a survey for students. And so we have seen that percentage of that level of understanding with that assignment, we've seen that increase, and so we're seeing the gap decrease. Again, a lot of feedback we get from students, they are saying now they recognize these industry standards within their scope of industry, not just in general, but how this fits into cosmetology, how this fits into welding, how this fits into our health science areas. So at this time, I am going to turn it over to one of our department chairs and faculty members who has played a critical role in this. So I will turn it over to Teresa Lehman, and she's going to share with you.
All right, thank you, Amy. Good evening, and thank you for this opportunity to share my perspective and experience with the QEP Aspire to be Hired program. I'm the chair of the Public Administration and Management Division that's under Dean Huffman's area in Career and Technical Education. From our perspective, the QEP program is designed with a single goal in mind, as Amy stated, and that is to equip our career and technical education students with 4 very critical employability skills. Those skills have been identified as professional communication, teamwork, problem solving, and ethics. These skills are essential in today's competitive workplace, as well as highly sought after by employers. I've had the privilege of being a part of this program since its inception 3 years ago, now going on 4. Initially, I participated as a faculty member where I designed 12 assignments, 3 for each of the 4 employability skills for the business management program. In my current role as chair, I have taken on the responsibility of mapping these employability-focused assignments across the 3 programs that I oversee, and those are accounting, business, and criminal justice. My approach has been very intentional. These assignments are strategically placed at 3 key stages in a student's educational journey. Within each degree plan, the students are asked not only to understand what these skills are, but are given an opportunity to master these skills by the time that they graduate. First, these assignments are placed at the beginning of their degree plan. The goal here, as Amy stated, is for them to have an awareness early on in their education about these skills. From their first courses, students are introduced to what employees expect in terms of what does professional communication look like, or what can I expect to have to do when I participate in a team. We want them to understand the relevance of these skills in the workplace and begin developing these skills from day 1. Next, they're asked to complete an assignment in the middle of their degree plan. At this stage, students are given an assignment that challenges them to articulate the skill. This is a critical point in their education where they're beginning to prepare for interviews and maybe internships. So, for example, by being able to articulate what professional communication or teamwork means and how they've applied that in their coursework and in their personal and professional experiences, they'll become more confident in expressing themselves and better equipped to stand out in their interviews as well as in their professional interactions. Finally, they're given an assignment at the end of their degree. In their final courses, students are given assignments that require them to demonstrate mastery of these skills. So this is their opportunity to show through projects, business simulations, other types of simulations and role plays, as well as case studies, that they can apply this knowledge in a real-world situation. By the time they graduate, they will have a tangible record of their abilities and something that they can showcase to potential employers. In the business program, we've taught these skills for a long time. However, with this QEP and Aspire to be Hired program, it has challenged us to be more intentional about how we integrate them across the curriculum in each of the degree plans. We ensure that in every course, students are not only learning the theory related to these employability skills, but they are given opportunities to practice them and to refine them. This initiative is supported also by professional development in my division and other divisions as well. So during our division meetings, faculty are trained on how to design and embed assignments as well as to assess these skills effectively. This helps us to maintain that or to ensure that we maintain consistency as well as high standards across the board. I'm happy to report that the results so far are very encouraging. I'd like to share an example from our accounting program. Recently, 2 of our graduates were hired by local companies, and their employers have been incredibly impressed by their abilities in the area of teamwork, problem solving, and their ability to communicate professionally. These graduates are not only meeting but exceeding expectations from their new employers. In fact, these companies have already reached back out to us asking for more candidates. Yay. So this direct feedback from industry stakeholders is a testament to the value of the QEP Aspire to be Hired program, both for our students and for our community. So to sum it up, I believe personally that the QEP Aspire to be Hired program has been a game changer for our students as well as for our community stakeholders. It's not just about giving our students the knowledge they need to succeed in their chosen field, but it's also about making sure that they have practical, real-world skills that employers are looking for. So I thank you for this time, and if you have any questions, I'm open to taking them. All right, thank you. Next, we have Patty from our Career Services.
I just first of all wanted to thank you for having me here. Amy had shared with me, she said, would you come and just share kind of a day in the life in Career Services and how you take this with partnering with the faculty and with your students, and kind of how that comes to fruition, taking them from their time here at NCTC all the way to accepting a job offer. So I said, gladly. I have lots of good examples. We're doing great things here. So I'm Patty Turner. I'm on the Flower Mound campus as a career coach, and been here about 2 years. So a little of what Teresa shared as far as how the curriculum is embedded with the QEP projects and assignments. The way that works with us is we partner with the faculty. They invite us to come in, and we love coming in and sharing with the students. So a lot of times we will have presentations on interviewing skills, and then we'll actually practice with mock interviews with questions and answers to get them ready. We'll also have resume opportunities for them to learn what a resume should look like, what you include in that resume. We use resources here. We use Skills First, which is a platform that we use, so we teach our students how to use that platform. And so along with us, they learn how to create a resume, and then we create that together. So we do presentations, we do workshops, and so forth. And so that has been really, in my mind, a game changer. The faculty being so welcoming to allow us to come in and to share with the students and partner alongside of them, along with those curriculum assignments. And so the way that that works typically is sometimes I'll come in and present, and the student, that may not be on their radar. They may be a first semester student with us, but they tuck it away. They tuck away our information, and I know they're listening because they'll call when they're ready. So they get closer to graduation or a little farther along. Maybe they're looking for a part-time position, full-time position. And so one example, I was trying to narrow it down. What do I want to share? What examples? Because there are some great things happening. And so literally just this morning, I got an email from a student. Hey, Mrs. Turner, I heard you. You came into my classroom in spring semester, this last spring semester, and you spoke on all the things Career Services can offer to me while I'm here as a student, and then also an alumni. And I wasn't ready at that time because a lot of the things didn't apply to me, but I kept your information. And so I'm reaching out because I need help with my resume now, and I am looking for a part-time or full-time position. This student is an international student, but their status had changed, so now they are eligible to look for work opportunities. So just came in this morning. I got a big smile on my face. I'm like, they did listen. They kept the information. And so we're actively working for her to create a resume. She has a first draft she sent to me already, and then we'll be working on some interviewing skills, and then also some strategies for job search. So that was a real-time example. That wasn't on my radar before as one of my examples to come speak to you today, but I just thought that that was great, how timely that was. And so there's a million stories like that. I'll just share one more before I wrap up. So I had another student that came to me, was extremely reserved, but so sharp, and just could not, it was hard for her to communicate the skills that she had and to speak about them confidently and to name them on her resume, and then also to speak them in an interview. And so I worked with that student. We created her resume, which was phenomenal. She had amazing skills. And I think when she went back and looked at it, she was really proud of what she had achieved with her time here too. And she then said, I don't know if I can get through an interview. I have a couple of interviews lined up and I'm scared to death. I don't know how I'm going to answer the questions. And so she and I practiced with mock interviews where I pretended like I was the employer and she was the person being interviewed, and we went through probably 7 to 8 different coaching appointments that she had set up with me where we practiced interviewing. And the first one to the last one was incredible. She was so confident. She could name those professional skills. She could talk about what she had learned here. All of those things came together. And it's like reading a good book because she called me back. Finally, I hadn't heard from her in a little while, and then she followed up and said, I got that job. I got the job I wanted. So it's like reading a good book, and you get to read that last page when they follow up with you. So thank you for allowing me to share kind of the full story of how QEP works.
How many career coaches do y'all have there?
How many career coaches? So currently, we are able to cover all of our different campuses. We don't physically have one on each campus. So we do have career coaches, Flower Mound, Corinth, Gainesville, and then we have in Bowie as well. And so we kind of also cover Graham as well, and then our Denton campus.
I think Amy's going to say a few more things. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, just a few closing words. I think it's just great to hear those practical stories of how this program is having an impact. And so, as I mentioned, I really think we are making progress with closing those skills gaps. And so we are expanding into all of the CTE programs. We're currently in a little over 60%, but as we go through the rest of year 4, and then into year 5, we will be in child development, in equine science, and horticulture. I've already had discussions with that department chair, and she's excited to get those assignments going and looking at their curriculum now, really looking at those case study-based scenarios and things like that. Our cosmetology department has updated theirs last year. Even Teresa, they've done some program realignment, so really looking each semester at what's working well. And then through other partnerships, you've heard mentioned tonight the Title V Pathways to Completion grant. We do have several aspects of Aspire to be Hired embedded in that as well. And so even things like our instructional designers who are creating course templates for faculty, we're looking at creating these professional skill course templates, so those can be used in any course. The career services team just finished a mock interview series with our English department, and so we're really able to expand beyond the career and technical, which I think is a critical piece of a successful quality enhancement plan is when the program comes to an end, what are you able to continue and what does that look like? How can you sustain that in other areas of your college? So we're very proud of that work. So any other questions?
Okay, thank you very much for the report.
Madam Chairwoman, I would ask if you're willing for the minutes to reflect that this is your yearly report for the Quality Enhancement Plan so that we can verify that with SACS in our 5th review report, Madam.
Duly noted. Thank you very much. Okay, the next item would be the Clary Report. Dr. Wallace.
Oh.
Has your name?
Yes, it does. It's mine, yes. You know, the Clary Report is a requirement each year that we present to the board, and it's more than just a compliance exercise. It really reflects, in my opinion, our commitment to transparency, safety, and accountability. And so, as you are aware, the Clary Act mandates that we disclose accurate campus crime statistics and maintain policies that promote a safe learning environment. That is a requirement of the Chief Executive Officer. So today I will walk through our current compliance standing, highlighting only key changes, and you've really had that. I'm not going to go into major details for you, except to say that that report's provided. It requires us to collect and publicly disclose crime statistics within designated geographic areas, issue timely warnings of threats, and maintain daily crime log. Additionally, we must conduct regular training, ensure proper reporting channels are available, and submit an annual security report by October 1st of each year and report that to the board itself. Non-compliance with these mandates will result in substantial fines, reputation damage, and a loss of federal funding. So that's why this is such a vital importance. So I submit for you this evening a review of the report and commend our staff for their diligence in providing a safe campus for faculty, staff, students, and community. I would argue that there are none of us that do not appreciate the continued support of our police department here, and we give them a lot of kudos. Chief Nicole Shaw, we appreciate your diligence in this report and keeping us safe. There is no action to be taken. Yes, that's good. No action to be taken by the board. It is simply a report that we are mandated to provide you. Any questions? We have staff here, and we will do our best to answer that.
Questions? All right. We don't seem, whoop. Okay, doesn't appear we have questions specific to that report, so we'll go on to the next item, which is the Title IX report. Dr. Wallace.
Please forgive me for reading what is in front of you, but by law I am required to read the following. Under Texas Education Code Section 51.253C, the institution's chief executive officer is required to submit a report of at least once during each fall and spring semester to the institution's governing body and post this institution's internet website a report concerning the reports received by employees under Section TEC Section 51.252 concerning sexual harassment, sexual assault, dating, violence, or stalking as defined by TEC Section 51.251 and any disciplinary action taken under Section 51.255. For the purpose of complying, the CEO is reporting requirements under that Section 51.253C. An attached summary is provided to the board this evening that reports includes all the required reporting information for North Central Texas College to the Board of Regents for a time period of January 2nd, 2023 through October 14, 2024. The summary data report is characterized based on the reporting requirements under Section 51.253. The reports received may be applicable in multiple reporting categories, and therefore the summary data in categories may not add up to the totals of the other categories. Summary report is also posted on our website and in the public reporting requirements under Section 51.253C at www.nctc.edu/Title IX. Note, any additional reports received by the Title IX coordinator that do not meet the required reporting criteria under Texas Education Code have been omitted for the compliance purposes of this specific report. Respectfully submitted, Chief Executive Officer. Any questions? And I read it really fast. I'm sorry, because you can read, but I have to.
All right. Doesn't appear we have questions specific to that report, so thank you very much. The next item on our agenda is item number 5, which is the consent agenda. There are 3 items, A, B, and C. At this time, I would accept a motion to remove any of those independent for discussion and or to approve consent agenda items as presented.
I'll make a motion to to accept as presented.
Okay, so we have a motion to accept the consent agenda items as presented. Do I have a second? We have a motion by Christie, a second by Dylan Ott. Do we have any additional discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye and raise your right hand, please. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. All right. The next item on the agenda is the discussion and action. Under discussion and action items is the consideration of approval of the expansion of the LVN to RN Bridge program to the Graham campus. Dr. King.
Thank you, Chairman Metzler and Board of Regents, and thank you for the opportunity to discuss this possible expansion of a nursing program over to the Graham campus. As part of our normal planning, we always look at opportunities for expansion, always being conservative, realizing that we have commitments that we have to, once we get into something, we want to be able to sustain it. Over the years, we've repeatedly heard from the community stakeholders in the Graham area that they felt an RM program would be a tremendous asset to the community. We heard tonight testimonial to that point. We also have a number of healthcare facilities in the area that have committed their support to the program. offering opportunities for clinical and training sites there within the region. That's a huge area in healthcare, as you may suspect right now. We believe, the dean and the chair believe that we could begin with 10 students in that first year program. We have currently prerequisite courses available now over on the Graham campus, so students could be in line. If everything goes as we hope, they would be able to transition into that program, so there's not going to be a gap once we move forward, if that's the board's desire tonight. We would hope to begin the program in fall of 2025, and if everything goes tonight, with your approval, we would open up the application process this May and start looking at the applicants. The dean today told me she believes we will be able to meet that 10 students. So the administration recommends the approval of the expansion of the LVN RN Bridge program at the Graham campus, and I'm available for any questions you might have.
Is there a reason that you would wait until May?
For applications?
Yes.
Well, I'm sure.
Seems as though there is a good reason, so thank you.
Yeah, well, we have.
Yes, and Diane, the Texas Board of Nursing is a challenging organization, which only allows us to increase by a certain amount, and there is a timeline Dr. King and I had talked about. You all have to approve the expansion of it, then we have to notify the Texas Board of Nursing, and then there's a back, and then by then it'll be May by the time we get our full approval. Am I correct with that?
We've had the pieces moving, yeah, and we're working, cautiously through all the steps. We think like that would be a good timeline, that May. Right. But I'm sure there are discussions being taken right now.
It just seems that in a rural setting, that the sooner you can get people at least oriented toward that, the better, making it available. But I'm sure you have other services that would take care of that.
Just need your approval.
Diane, did you have something that you, sorry, I saw you back there. I thought you might add to the comments.
They won't hear you in the hinterland if you don't say it.
Stated about why we're waiting until May. That will make sure that the students who are in programs, who are in classes, prerequisite classes in the spring, will be on their transcripts. And that's kind of a rule. We don't want somebody, so we will know what their grades are by then to make sure that they qualify to be in the program. So by May 31st, everything will be on their transcript or will be in our system so that we can look to make sure when they put their applications in. So
they are able to transition.
Exactly, right.
Okay. So, and I'm sure that we're working with the local citizens that have always been supportive of the different things over in Graham in order to fund and.
We have a meeting Monday to work with our advisory committee there. We do think that there is an opportunity for philanthropy to assist us in the simulation lab experience. They have been very giving as a community, and I think there won't be a challenge for us to kind of maybe use a matching kind of conversation with them where the college uses some of the reserves they generated from their tax base, and then also we have some local philanthropy. They've been asking for this quite a while. It is meeting a need that the surrounding communities need as well as Graham, so I don't think that will be difficult. Plus, the simulation experience that we would add to would benefit not just the RN program, it would be beneficial to the existing LVN. One caveat I don't think we mentioned, maybe we did earlier in the process, is this is a ever 2-year cohort as well. So that's a way you gain your numbers that you need as a smaller community. They'll know that ahead of time. They'll be able to plan for that. So if your student says, I really want my RN, but I'm going to go ahead and do the LVN there, so I'm in track for the 2-year, I think that's also an important aspect to this program. So.
That makes sense, for sure. Yeah. All right. Additional questions? So this is an discussion and possible action item. So if we would entertain a motion, if you so choose, to move to approve the expansion of the LVN to RN Bridge program for the Graham campus.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion by Mr. Henderson. Do you have a second? Second by Ms. Sullivan. Additional discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Raise your right hand. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on our agenda, item number 7, is executive session, and I do not believe that we have any need for one of those this evening. So we'll skip on down to announcements. Dr. Wallace, do we have announcements?
Just a couple of dates that I would remind you to keep, and we will send these to you in an email as well. But I do want to go ahead and make the announcement, and it's early, but I like making early announcements. Community College Day is an important part of the legislative session. This year's even more important. That is going to be on February 3rd. February 3rd. If you're interested in being a part of that student organization trip and our work during that time, just let Sandy know. We will begin that process of planning that. We have made the determination as well, another head up for you, but we've determined to do the audit report in between the 2 graduation ceremonies on December 13th. Now, that would be at 3 o'clock. I will tell you this, because you don't have to vote and aren't required to vote on the audit, you can even be from a distance, listen in. So if work's a challenge and you want to Zoom in or call in, we can do that. We don't even require quorum physically be here. So we'll give you that information will come out as well. Those of you that can be here, they will be here physically to present it, but we will provide options if you can't leave work for some reason for that hour's meeting. We can help with that if you weren't planning to come to graduation. And graduation ceremonies are the same day at 1 o'clock for, I believe, the health sciences at 1 o'clock, and then we have a 6 o'clock that evening for all other degrees and program certificates. So that's December the 13th. And I know these are early to give you, but if you're like the rest of us, our calendars fill quickly.
It's here on this campus.
It is here. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, Friday the 13th. Thank you, Dr. Miller, for putting that out there.
Okay.
He had to say it out loud, didn't he?
Oh, February 3rd.
February 3rd.
Got it. Okay.
We will also, the final announcement, we will be garnering support and information again. I remind you that the executive committee of the board also comprises the legislative committee during session, so we'll be working on that. You and I talked about that, Madam Chair.
Correct. All right. At this time, the next item is our adjournment. So at this moment, we'll stand adjourned for this evening. Thank you very much for your attendance.